Just a quick video today. We're in the process of getting packed up to move house, and I thought I'd have a look at what I've actually got coming out of the loft. So at the moment I'm currently on magazines, and I have found a lot of old television magazines which were a popular industry magazine at the time. I found a number of classic car magazines. These were purchased in, blimey, 2004. There's a few practical classics and also classics magazines as well. There's also this one, which was guest edited by Chris Barry, which was back in 2007. But the one that I'm interested in is the first copy of Car Mechanics that I ever purchased, which is this one from October 1997. I also need to watch this cat and make sure that she does not get lost in there, because she's getting a little bit interested about going in there. But yeah, this one was purchased in 1997, and it covers a Golf GTI project, which was actually a Mark 1. Citroen BX service, MGF diagnostics, and the article I found quite useful, which is the XJ40 rear axle, and also buying older Mercedes such as the 123 series. I mean, this car here, if it still exists, would be worth a lot of money now, because it was quite a nicely spec'd 280. So let's just have a quick look through here and see what sort of cars they were looking at in 1997. So at the time it was edited by the legendary Peter Simpson, who actually looks like that now, just a bit greyer, believe it or not. And having spoken to him in person, he actually remembers quite a few of the articles which were sort of in the magazines around this sort of time. So yeah, he was sort of pretty proud of the work that he achieved with this magazine, to be honest, and rightly so. Anyway, so this chap here unfortunately died a few years ago, but his columns were always very interesting. A chap called Ted Connolly, if I remember rightly. This was the Golf GTI project. It was actually a Mark II. I do apologise, I thought it was a Mark 1 they were looking at. And they would have still been sort of a fairly common piece of street furniture at the time. This was the Mercedes 280 that they were looking at. This one actually had the air conditioning fitted, which I remember being quite unusual. It also had the Bosch ABS system. And she's going in there again. Come on, you. Out you. No, don't go in there. Come on, that way. Off you go. Actually covers quite a few of the areas that can rust. The 123 series, certainly the ones that I was involved with, which was, funny enough, a white one but on a T-plate. It was quite rusty. They did seem to get better when all of them went over to the square headlights like this on the 280. So all models, instead of having the round headlights like this, which you had on the 200, 230 and 250 models, and also the diesels, they went to the square units that you had on the 280s and 300Ds. So all models received those, and at that point there was also a kick up in build quality as well. Still had tips from the trade section, so that was always quite entertaining, also sort of just covering models which were present at the time. And this was, I think this was Peter Simpson's 2.9 XJ40. You can see there, even at the fairly young age, the boot lid has rust, which they all did that. And another common issue with the XJ40s at this time, and in fact still affects them, but you don't hear about it so much these days, was output shaft bearings. So that was still very much consideration of something that you had to obviously sort of repair at various points. And thankfully I've never actually undertaken an output shaft bearing replacement, but as far as I know, it's not too difficult if you have the right tools and a lift. So whenever I've had it done, I've had somebody else sort it out. Typical cars of the time, and typical sort of questions of the time. And yeah, all sort of typical stuff for the late 90s, to be honest with you. As the cars which we now refer to as classics were in the late 90s very much just, well, cars. I mean, that Sierra now is a classic, this Metro classic car. This E33 series, an unbelievably classic car. Even the R8 there is a classic, and that prices are going through the roof for Mark III and Mark IV Escorts. So there is a lot of interest in cars from this sort of era, which in the late 90s were just, you know, bangers. Well, not bangers, but just sort of cheap runarounds that you could maintain on a relatively meagre budget. So what else have we got in the loft? This, which was a brochure for the VW Passat, the B6 Passat. This actually sort of came out when the B6 Passat actually came out. I ordered a brochure for the simple fact that, well, I just wanted the brochure. I don't know why, I just got the brochure for some reason. And yeah, that was way back in 2005 I got hold of that. And these cars now can be picked up for not a lot of money, and it's just sort of amazing to see just how things have changed and how things have moved on. I mean, 2005 is quite a long time ago now, and at the time this was quite an expensive premium car. Looks like there's some water damage on there, unfortunately, but I'll probably take a look through this in a future episode. So what else have we got in the box? We've got all of these television. Oh, we've got some Motor magazines as well. Excellent. So Motor, before they became Autocar and Motor, was its own magazine, and they were very good car magazines for the day. Not sure what that is. And these were very sort of cool, very good magazines for the day. This one is from February the 11th, 1994, and they're looking at body kits, which was pretty en vogue for the 80s. This SD1 looks fantastic. Really like that. It's quite extreme, but I just like the sort of the flush rear end. And also that spoiler is pretty cool as well. Let's see if they've actually got page 34, that would be, so let's have a look. Oh yeah, back when we had snow, we were testing snow chains on a Mark II Cavalier. Oh, what was this? Oh, this was the VW Scirocco that had 2 engines? Was this real? Yeah, it's not April. So, yeah, I think they did actually have a VW Scirocco that had 2 engines for some reason. Yes, body kits. So, let's have a look at the sort of body kits you could get. Oh my god, that Opel Kadett looks quite... yeah. Mercedes looks alright. That is the Sierra. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like a base model Sierra. That's a side profile of that SD1 kit, which actually looks quite good. It seems to follow the lines. Front bumper, not too sure about. I like the skirts, I like the arch extensions. Rear bumper I like, and I also like the rear spoiler. And, oh yeah, that was the Tressa Audis. That's actually a Tressa look Audi Quattro. That was the Cartel kit for the Capri, which wasn't too extreme. I mean, some of them were very extreme. That's the comprehensive 15-part kit for the Astra. And oh, the Arden kit for the XJS was quite nice. That is quite extreme. That's a C126 Mercedes. That's quite good. That actually improves the look of the Santana. Zender did a nice range, quite understated but quite distinctive at the same time. So Zender, certainly on the E30 there, looked pretty good. They even had a go on the Maestro as well. So that was Star Custom offered 2 Astras and Silver Dream Maestro. Yeah. That's the BBS setup for a Scirocco. There's obviously an advert for Cartel. And also an advert for Star Custom. And Audi Tuning by Tressa, who were really big back in the 80s, or certainly big in the Audi world. It's another name from the past, Wood and Pickett. I don't know if they're still around. They might be. I'm honestly not sure. And I got to admit, I quite like the look of what they've done to the Nova there. That does look, or the Opel Corsa A, that really does look good on the front end and down the sides. I mean, sort of compared with the factory front, I really like that. That's very tidy. 4 lamps set up on the Astra GTE, not so, but still not terrible. And then you're back onto standard articles, various adverts for garages of the time. I think HR Owens still exist. I'd be interested to know how many of these names still exist. I think Maranello does, certainly does. Yeah, Hillside Motors, I think they were quite big in the Reliant world. Well, obviously they would be, given that they've got the Scimitar logo. Let's have a look at some of the prices that BMWs were going for at the time. So you could go for an A-Reg E23 735A special equipment, Polaris Silver, 4,000 miles, 29.95, which was a lot of money back then. I mean, you're talking serious amounts of money. Harrington's, you could go for a 1981 316 in henna red, which was a nice colour, 4,995. And 635 CSIA A plate 83, 3,000 miles on the clock, 21,995. Oh yeah, 732. That was an interesting engine. It's basically an M30, but just not as big as the 3.5, which was not really a 3.5, it was more a 3.4. 35,000 miles on a V plate, 7,995, so there's a bit of a bargain. So yeah, it is really interesting to see what sort of stuff you've actually got going on here. Let's have a look at... Okay, let's have a look at the Citroens. So you could go for a CX Palace Auto, 2,000 miles on the clock, 8,795, which is probably about 22 these days, I guess. Oh, a Visa GT, silver sunroof, tints, 5,000 miles, 4,495. That's when tinted windows was still, you know, oh wow, it's got tinted windows. It was still quite a big thing. Let's have a look at the Jags. So Mumfords of Exeter, could pick up a nice A-Reg Series 3 4.2 auto, cranberry with biscuit hide, electric mirrors, rear belts, headlamp wash wipe, 1,500 miles only, 15,950. That's not bad. Or you could get an older, oh no, it's not older, slightly older, oh no, that's still pretty new, an E28 525 5-speed in lapis blue, only 1,106 miles, 11,250. Not bad at all, actually. I wonder if they still exist. I know there is a Jag dealer in Exeter, but I don't know if it's them or if it's someone else. Who else have we got? Let's have a look at... Let's blast through Mercedes, as they are going to be predictably expensive. Let's have a look at the sort of thing that... Oh, there's my initials. JCT 600 do still exist. They have a number of different marks catered for. Let's have a look at... Oh, course, they wouldn't be Rover back then, they'd be Austin. So let's see if we've got any Austin dealer stuff going on. So, yeah, Austin. Oh, look at that. 1981 Y-Reg Metro 1.3 automatic in champagne with tan trim, 6,000 miles, 3,995. Which, I can't remember how much it would have been. 9 or 10 grand? I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. What else have we got? Oh, interesting American imports. So you could go for a new right-hand drive Jeep C17 Renegade, fully loaded. Oh, there's no prices on it, but actually there's no prices on any of these. It's obviously a ring them up and find out kind of deal. And there we go, that's quite an interesting little magazine. This is the Daihatsu Charade. This was at the time the smallest production diesel engine for a car in the world, by all accounts. I actually wonder if any of these still exist, because that was quite an achievement at the time, little 1 litre diesel. Interesting little cars. And yeah, there we go. So I'll just put that on my pile of magazines to keep. And it's time to continue going through these. Anyway, hope you found this interesting, bit of a trip down memory lane. If you have, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, see you soon.